Welcome to Tales from the Zeeborhood with your host, Amanda Dagley. Our guest, Teddy Chan.
Ready, Captain.
This is the inaugural episode of Tales from the Zeeborhood, and for those of you who don't know, the Zeeborhood is a fictional universe that I created after being on the radio with my own station for almost 7 years. And the Zeeborhood is universal to me. It's what that also means. It's the Zebraverse. So it's all of the neat people that I've met in my almost 30 years of broadcasting, and honestly, in my 47 years of life. I've met a lot of cool people, and I've decided I wanted to collect all of your stories in one card catalog, because I used to want to be, and I still do, I want to be a librarian. So this is my way of card cataloging all of my favorite people, the people who I think are the coolest and have the greatest stories and to do the most and do the best. And my first guest, I will let them introduce themselves in a moment, but what I was telling people, I said, hey, my first guest is going to be blah, blah. And they all like, really? Oh, that's so cool. So everybody is excited that my first guest is...
Hello, my name is Teddy Chan. I am the manager of China Cafe here in the mall of 30 years, and I've pretty much taken it over for my parents at this point.
And you are one of the most beloved people in Plattsburgh, in the North Country.
Stop it.
You are. And so yesterday I went for a walk, and I was walking through the bike path and kind of near the college sort of area, and I bumped into a gentleman who was picking up trash. And I said to him, you're a really good human for doing that. Thank you for doing that. And it's kind of, it's near like Riverside Cemetery. And I started talking to this guy, and I'm like, oh, he'd be a great candidate for Tales from the Zeeborhood. Nice. And then I told him, he said, well, what's the show about? I said, well, I'll tell you, my first guest is, and the minute I said your name and I said China Cafe, he was like, he goes, oh, he's like, I don't know him, but I go there. So that's the thing, is like, because you're a fixture, like you're a celebrity, Teddy, whether you like it or not.
No one's famous in Plattsburgh.
Oh, come on.
Unless Ben Stiller comes to visit.
He ignored me once. I saw him. I didn't go out and say hi, but he was crossing the street and did not come see, so I was very disappointed.
Typical Ben.
But no, for real, like you are beloved because you know it. I see the good that you do, and you don't tell the people the good that you do because that's not the purpose of doing good. But I see you constantly doing good in our community, and you're the perfect first guest for this.
Well, thank you.
Because you're kind of mysterious. I think so. I mean, like, and I think like in the world of social media and all of the things like that, you bring positivity every time that you post. And I think that there's a lot of people, myself included, don't really get out much anymore. So we kind of live inside our phones and live inside the internet. And you're a sunshine beam in that, Teddy. You really are.
Thank you. I just like to, you know what? I like, and I've said this for years at this point, I don't have time for negativity. There's enough of that in this world. Why would I want to add on top of it? I might share things that are a realistic point of view, but there are positives in that too. There very well maybe negatives in the realistic point of views that I might share. But at the same time, I'm always going to look for positives. And you're
always positive. And so thank you for being the shining light. And I first asked you to do this on New Year's Eve because I went to get egg rolls and fortune cookies, because my tradition is to get a fortune cookie, and that's my fortune for the year. Okay. And although I honestly don't, it's got to be in my wallet somewhere. I can't remember what that fortune was, but I don't. I should have written the date on. I used to tape it to my mirror, and then I stopped doing that. And I used to want
to make a whole wall filled with just fortune cookies, like the fortunes.
I have a bunch in a little tin. I've been saving them for years. If you want to do it.
It's possible. I'm not going to lie. I thought about doing that at the shop.
You totally should. You could put it on like cork boards, so that way you could move it if you ever wanted to change it up or whatever.
Even better. We will have to brainstorm this idea.
Anyway, so I was standing there and the line was busy. You're always busy. It's always busy there. It's great. It's because you're the best in the North Country. So that's what it is. And I was just getting my egg rolls, and I said, I'm doing this show and you're a perfect candidate for it, and I would like to, have you on the show. And then I went through a very deep depression over the winter, and I didn't do it. And you asked me when we sat down today, why now? And I'm like, well, for many reasons. We'll talk about those maybe some other time. But for the long and the short of it is that it's time, because like I miss this. I miss talking to people. I miss sharing the stories of other people with the community.
This is one of my favorite things to do. Just shooting the shit, sharing stories, sharing perspectives, and life experiences.
And
I love it.
And you're, again, like, I've always known who you were, but I didn't actually get to meet you until another life of mine when I owned my own radio station. We met through the Pedal It Forward program.
Exactly.
And that's such a cool thing. That was the first time I actually got to work with you. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's real cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
And, I just thought that you'd be the perfect first guest. So I'm kind of winging it because I don't really know what these Tales of the Zeeborhood are going to look like. I kind of don't want them to be formulaic. And you'd asked me, you said that you didn't want to swear. I'm like, we can now. We're not FCC regulated, so we can swear.
We're not going PG-13 today.
No, not at all. Damn it. Anyway, so I don't really know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to just basically, I want to kind of start with, you're a Plattsburgher. You've been here long enough, but this is not their first home. So tell me a little bit about the first years of Teddy.
The origin story?
Yes, the origin story.
Okay. Well, I am fairly old.
You're not fairly
I will be 44 this summer.
I'm older than you.
I've spent, I grew up in Brooklyn, actually, the first 17 years of my life. My parents got here, I think, about 2 years before I was born. And my parents have hustled since they got here. And right before my senior year of high school, I went to Midwood High School. We moved up here. My parents moved up here first, actually. So they were here a full year before me and my brother moved up here, which was insane because me and my brother were living in our own apartment for the most part
in Brooklyn.
And you can't even, I won't share the havoc that we were reaping.
I was going to say you were good boys, I'm sure.
Yeah, on the books, yes. And then we moved up here the summer of 97 for my senior year.
What a
PHS.
change from being in the
gosh.
city to being, and Plattsburgh is the big city. But I can tell you the Plattsburgh of the 90s was nowhere near as cool as the Plattsburgh of the now.
I can't recall. I remember the mall was super busy. Now, maybe you can answer this. By the time I moved up here, was the base already closed?
Yes, the base closed in 95.
Okay.
But there were still, there was still people, remnants of it. That's a good way to put it. And a lot of people had retired here because they could have, so they stuck around and they were kind of, I don't know if demilitarizing is the right way to put it, but they were, they were trying to, there was still a lot more hubbub. But it was definitely, business was doing better then, but it wasn't as culturally as rich, I don't think, in the mid-90s when you moved up here. We didn't have places like, I want to say first off, thank you to Old Soul Design Shop for letting us record in here today.
Yes, props Old Soul.
So, there weren't cool businesses like this then. You know what I mean? So so as a 17-year-old, what did you do for fun?
I did a lot of things growing up in New York City that we couldn't simply do up here.
I figured.
I don't want to incriminate myself either, but
You can tell me when the mic's off if you want.
we engage in a lot of activities. Moving up here, I was the most miserable senior.
In your senior year?
Yeah. I felt like not just my friends that I'm missing, but it's just the basic network that I felt like I was building at that point in my life.
And like the senior years, you work your whole high school career to be a senior because you have seniority, and you're like, and now you're starting completely from scratch in a new school.
Not only that, I did not. In New York City, I'm pretty sure at that time we had senior prom. We only had prom once.
Right.
So I did not get to experience that. I was able to have an opportunity here, and I declined because I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was the most miserable looking kid. I dressed miserably. I dressed like I was from the city. I was definitely... But put it this way. As soon as I moved up here, first day of school, everybody knew that I was... They didn't know who I was necessarily, but they knew I was the new kid.
Right. And you
were
the city kid.
Yeah, which some people thought was super cool. And then some people were like, wow, look at this guy. He's got like a stick up his ass. He's got an attitude.
Well, you know what? Honestly, if my parents had uprooted me, for good reasons, but if my parents had uprooted me, and I would have been miserable too. I mean, I was just normally miserable anyway as a teenager. I couldn't imagine You know what I mean? Like you lose that touchstone of what it's like to have all of the support that you already have.
Yeah.
So but if I would have been, I'm older than you, so I was already out of school at that point. But I would have been your friend immediately because my goal was to adopt every new kid because I was the weird kid, and I figured if I adopt the new kids, especially if they were from places like New York City, I would have been like, oh my god, this kid's cool. This is my chance to have a cool friend, because I did. I adopted every single new kid. Totally would have adopted you. Absolutely.
It's funny. I gravitated towards. I had a select group of friends when I moved up here. My brother was a little luckier in the sense that
is he younger? He's younger than you.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we moved up here together, he was a freshman.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. See, so he was just starting to build his network. Let's say.
Absolutely.
As a 13-year-old, I
Yeah.
guess. So he had time to build his own foundation here of networking, whereas mine was, like you said, uprooted. And I gravitated towards a few of. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I gravitated towards them, but they took me in. Just a group of, I guess you would call them, and I don't want to stereotype, but I guess they were like a group of preppy kids.
Really? You were
Yeah,
adopted by the
exactly.
preps.
Which is kind of odd.
That's
But I'm
great,
assuming
though.
it's because, oh shit, this guy's like, he looks a little bit tough. We don't know anything about him.
You were mysterious.
Maybe
TJ.
let's just not fuck with this guy and maybe kind of learn a thing or two.
Oh my god, that's amazing. See, like I was not part of that. I was kind of afraid of the preppy kids because they were my biggest bullies, so I stayed away
Yeah.
from them. But some of them really liked me. So the ones that liked me, I stuck around with. But there were some I was like, no, thank you.
No, that's the big culture shock thing. Like, I watch a lot of. I used to watch a lot of movies. I used to like to watch, the coming of age
Oh, yeah.
movies.
Do you have
the
a favorite?
teeny bopper rom-coms. Can't Hardly Wait. I love Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I like her. I've never seen that. I know that movie, but I've never seen it.
Those are style movies I did like to watch for a time. And you know what? Those, I don't want to call them accurate depictions, but those depictions didn't really exist in New York City growing up.
Oh my god, no! That makes sense. Like,
But for some reason, as soon as I moved up here, I was like, oh, this is kind of like the movies a little bit. They had lockers in the hallways. We didn't have lockers in New York City. There was no space for that. The only lockers we had in New York City growing up in the public school system were our gym lockers.
right?
We didn't have lockers lining the hallways where we could go to in between periods for whatever reasons. It was so cool. I felt like, and you know what? One of my favorite shows is Saved by the Bell. It kind of felt like that. As soon as I moved up here, I was like, this is so cool. One cool thing, definitely.
Do you know the thing that shocked me the most so I went to Clinton Community for 2 years, and then I went to
Yeah.
Plattsburgh State. When you would have 97 was when I went to Plattsburgh State. So I was able to meet more kids, and there were kids from the city and kids from Long Island and even
yes.
Albany or whatever. But when I met the kids that were actually from Washington Heights and like Queens and stuff, the fact that they didn't have school buses and they rode public transportation, that was the biggest mind-blowing thing to me. I'm like, you mean to tell me there's
It was so much fun.
honestly, I think it would have been because I didn't ride the bus until I was in 7th grade because I lived near the elementary school.
Yeah.
So 7th grade, the bus terrified me. I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I had to actually catch a public transportation, I would have never gone to school because I would have been late for everything. So that was the biggest shock to me.
Riding the MTA in New York City was so much fun because we would get a bus / train pass, like a mass transit pass every month, right? I'm not saying we abuse the pass, but I'm saying that we would be.
Things were different in the 90s in New York
Yeah,
City.
we were kind of taking the bus to wherever we wanted, really.
Oh my God.
off school hours.
And that's the thing I think that I was just the opposite when it came to movies. I watched movies like my favorite movie in high school was Sid and Nancy. And, Sid Vicious, Nancy Sponge, and the whole thing. I got to finally go to the Chelsea Hotel when I was 27.
Nice.
So I had this myth about New York City and like all of that stuff. Like, so those are the movies I watched because I wanted to see the gritty side of things. And you are just the complete opposite. You were watching the things that were like the normal things that I grew up here. What I thought was boring at the time. But I still watch Saved by the Bell because my high school was not like that.
Zach Morris is a douche.
Oh, total douche. Who did you like? Who was your favorite?
Zach Morris. and Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, Kelly, she was so cute.
They broke up like I don't know how many times.
Oh my God, that was such
like
a
every season.
You know, I've tried to watch it as an adult and I can't
Yeah.
because I watched it like I think I was watching it in syndicated repeats or something because I don't think I was watching it when it was out for some reason. But it was kind of like that in like Degrassi Junior High, like those kind of like again like those fictitious high school like coming of age stuff. I love that, but
Yeah.
I did not have that experience. But because my high school was in the middle of nowhere, I went to Ausable Valley, so that's like literally in Clintonville.
Right.
Like there's nothing. Leaving for lunch, we didn't do that. There was no place to go. Like,
Oh yeah, there was no such thing as that in New York City. Like there was just simply not enough time to go anywhere for lunch.
No. Now, so did you? So now the thing I thought was interesting about you got to pick your high schools, right? Like you got, is that how that, or did you not get to do that? Because some kids could, right?
Yes. So in New York City at the time, we could take an exam to get into more specialized high schools, let's say. And at the time, it was Brooklyn Tech, Bronx High, and Stuyvesant. Stuyvesant was a top-ranked school. I'm not so smart, book smart anyway.
He's very
I
smart.
took it anyway, just to like appease my parents. And then when I couldn't make any of them, they called me an idiot. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I mean, they didn't really call me an idiot, but they acted like I was an idiot.
It's that look of disapproving, like
And that's
that
part
hurts
of my
a lot.
culture.
Yeah. And honestly, I can think it would be tougher. You know, like my father's disappointed in me constantly, and
Oh, yeah.
like, and it's just like
They're
I
still
can't,
disappointed
and
in
I
me.
can't, and they shouldn't be, right? Our folks shouldn't be because we do good things and we're trying our best. But the crushing disappointment, and I imagine
not a
it's worse.
doctor.
Well, exactly. You know, like in your culture, I'm sure that and you know, I want to be as sensitive as possible, but I'm sure that that's something that you have to struggle with.
Oh yeah, I deal with that every day, and that's fine. It's I would say I'm not, and no offense, everyone, but I ain't soft.
No, you're not.
I can take criticism.
You're one of the toughest, honestly, Teddy. You're one of the toughest motherfuckers I've ever met, and I believe, and I mean that with my heart. You're a badass.
I tell people hey, especially first time visitors, if you don't like the food, great, tell me. I can take the criticism. I don't, or there are some people that come to the shop and say, "Oh, Teddy, I'm sorry I haven't visited in a while. I've just been super busy." I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, I care more that you eat and that you're healthy and that you're in a good state of mind. For you to not visit, never apologize for that. I would never take that personally. Life happens, I'm more concerned about your personal well-being. I don't care about you coming to spend like $15-20 for lunch at my shop. That really doesn't faze me. I want to make sure you're just doing well. That's the bottom line.
And that's why I can say that's why I haven't seen. I'm so broke. It costs money to even walk out of the house these days. So like if I go to the mall, that's too much temptation. There's there's other stuff. I can't afford to even breathe at this point.
Those egg rolls.
God, I can't even make it to the car. I usually eat one almost all the way, like from the shop to my car. One's almost gone. Like 3 bites. Like I
Doesn't
feel like a
survive.
snake.
Devoured.
They're so good. It's a flavor. It's so good. Anyway, but to be able to like pick your high school, that kind of stuff. Like, so was your school in Brooklyn, or did you have to go farther into the city?
It was in Brooklyn. It was about, I would say, maybe during peak rush hours, because we're commuting with the public.
With everybody.
Like, I honestly would start class at 7 a.m.
Oh God! What time did you have to get up to get on the train or the
I
bus
would leave
or
my
whatever?
house at about 5:30 a.m. and I would walk to the bus stop, which was the B6 at the time on Bay Parkway, and it would take me about maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get to that stop. But I'm on the bus by like 5:45 or so, and guess what? There's nobody on the bus, barely anybody. I'm gonna get to school not just on time but early, and I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to deal with the rush. Like, I don't like to rush things, honestly. Like, I'm one of those people that gets to the airport like at least hour and a half, 2 hours
I would
early.
like to be more like
even
you.
domestic flights. I'm still, because of this like fear of, oh my god, what if there's a bunch of people at TSA and the checkpoints? Like, you can't afford to cut it close. Like, I work too damn hard and too damn much. Like, if I'm going away, if I'm getting on a plane, chances are I'm getting on a plane to go somewhere that I would like to be.
Right.
And I don't want to compromise that at all.
I need to take that advice because generally, my excuse is I was born 3 days late. And I've never quite made up that time. I'm just terrible. And my problem is like, I think I have more time than I do. And that's my problem. That's just me. But I mean, that's why I'm telling you, because if my mother would have said, we're moving to, to Brooklyn, and then I would have had no way would I have ever been on time. There's just no way.
Let me tell you one thing that really pissed off my ex. So shout out to Carol. She's like my best friend. She's my ex. Well, one of my exes, probably like 3 or 4 are moved at this point. We're best friends now. She always bitched at me. She was like, because I set my clock 17 hours fast, and that's the alarm clock. We weren't using our phones at the time as an alarm clock. So every time she'd be like, for the longest time, we were together for almost 10 years. And for those 10 years, she still couldn't adjust to that clock being 17 hours.
17 hours? That's a lot, man. I'm about
Eventually, she caught on. She was like, why is this thing that fast? I'm like, oops. I didn't tell her.
I'm about 15 minutes here, give or take. And that still doesn't even give me enough of a bubble. Like that's because I learned my watch is the only watch that, this is synced to PHS time right now because I was subbing over the last few months.
Oh, okay.
So it is now 7 minutes after 3 at the PHS clocks.
Nice.
Every other clock in my house, other than the computer clocks that I can't change, they're all different because I can't trust myself.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But the thing is, that's why when you said that you had a few Mondays off, and I was like, okay, this is the time to do this because you are a very busy human. Like you are, not only are you running a very successful business, but you take care of your folks. You're philanthropic in the community, and you also deserve free time too. But you're pretty much a 24/7 kind of guy.
As my friend Ken Drake always says, even if we're out chilling at the ward at 12:30 a.m. having a drink, shooting the shit, people would ask me, "Oh, are you working tomorrow?" And I'll be like, "He's always working. He's working right now."
Yeah,
actually.
you are.
So yeah, I've adopted that mentality. I do feel like I'm always working. I'm always, even if you see me out and about, there's always a networking opportunity possibly, and people will. And you know what? Maybe I'll say it here. Don't talk to me about work.
No. Isn't that, yes, I understand that very much.
Don't talk to me about your suggestions on how I should run things.
Oh.
Don't ask me to make an adjustment to the menu. And the biggest thing that really bugs me is, why are you closed on Mondays?
Because
there are people that are legit mad.
Now I know
I take time off here and there to address priorities, or even to take a regulated day off. People get legit mad.
Now, I mean, it's you and your folks, and is there 1 or 2 other people? Is there just there's 4 of you?
I pretty much have one other person, the head chef. He's been with us for over 25 years. He knows what he's doing. So as of now, with my parents, my mom's going to retire soon. July.
Wow.
She plans to retire. No, I'm not going to say she plans to retire. She is going to retire. Now, that doesn't mean she's completely, not going to be there.
Right.
But I'm hoping that she at least, if you want to work, fine. But please don't work more than 20, 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
I just want my parents to live. They've done this way too long. They've paid their fair share. They've paid their dues to society at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just trying to pay my fair share and my dues to society, have fun along the way, and maybe inspire a person or two. I always tell the kids, hard work pays off. Trust me on that. People will recognize that.
You guys are a testament to that. So what I wanted to ask you is, so you come here in 1997. You are in Plattsburgh.
I'm working still.
What's that? You are. Of course you are.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I gotta put in an order that I forgot to put in. That's why.
And honestly, I'm going to leave this in the show. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand when you're a small business owner that this doesn't stop. And you bring up a good point. And I'm still this is kind of Tales of the Zeeborhood is basically my way of kind of off-roading.
Yeah.
I've been kind of squeezed by what I could and couldn't do on the radio for the last 27 years. And this is unfiltered, real deal stuff. I'm still bitter that I had to sell my half of the business. And I had to sell my half of the business because I couldn't handle the pressure of I was fine working all the time. That didn't bother me. But basically being squeezed by a business partner who wasn't working as hard as I was, in my opinion, and having to always have my life continually interrupted, and it just frayed me when it came to stress. And you understand that.
I completely
and
I'm never free.
You're never free. Like, you know what? Like, because...
Thank you. This is one thing I definitely wanted to touch upon. Because my days really don't end. As I'm sitting here right now, having this conversation and telling stories with Amanda, I'm actually honestly placing an order for delivery tomorrow because I completely forgot. My day today, and although the shop is closed on Mondays as of now, I was there at about 9:30, just cleaning. I had an order come in today that I needed to, obviously, we have perishables, so I need to make sure everything came in right, came in good, because if I'm not gonna eat it, I'm not gonna serve it. So I had to make sure everything went into the fridge to make sure, for the integrity of the products too. And guess what? On top of that, I had Fire One Solutions, shout out to Scott. He came in and did my hood cleaning today too. And he thankfully is willing to work around my schedule because you know what? Ever since I've taken an active role in this business, I've slowly started to realize that my schedule, how did I want to phrase this? I have to constantly work my schedule around everyone else. And by that, I'm not just talking about like placing orders, like some of these guys that I place orders with, my sales reps, Miguel is a testament to this. Miguel always says, Teddy, don't worry about it. You can place an order whenever, even on the weekends or like late night. And you know what I say? I say, no, fuck that. Because you know what? I'm going to respect your time. I don't want you to deal with work after 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Because you wouldn't remind me to place an order during your off hours, which you haven't, hopefully, I think. But that's the thing. I'm trying to respect everyone else's time because you know what? I have to work my schedule around everyone else. So when someone respects my time, it makes me feel that much more valued because they understand. People that respect my time honestly understand that I basically have zero time.
Well, that's why when I texted you on Saturday, because I meant to text you Friday, and then Monday got busy, and then I was like, please do not, like this, I know you're at the wedding, but if I don't send this now, I'm going to forget, kind of thing.
I appreciate that so much. You have no idea.
Like, do not feel pressured to respond.
Thank you.
Because honestly, as somebody, something you said about, people criticizing the business or making
criticizing my schedule.
And criticize your schedule or saying why can't you, here, I'm going to stop. You finish your order.
Oh, no. Don't worry.
You do both?
Yes, of course. I'm used to this.
Because I feel bad. I'm yakking and
bad.
I'm like.
No, I'm completely paying attention. Trust me.
Oh, I know you are, but I feel bad because also I've always had to work my schedule around everybody. The radio station was my dream come true, but before that I was also a manager at a radio station. So pretty much when something is a 24-hour business like radio, you don't get a rest. There are just some days where the emergencies are easily fixed from home, and there's some days where the emergencies just don't happen, and those are great, but you never can relax. There's never you never can. In my case, I could never relax. I think that's what led to my nervous breakdown of the last year because I couldn't just chill, and you get that.
I always feel tense.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I always feel stressed, but I always feel a bit on edge. And it's not because of my caffeine intake. It's not because of my lack of caloric intake. I basically don't eat most days because of work. Because when I check in, and when I start my days pretty much at 8:30 every day. My day doesn't typically end until well after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And most days I'm still there at the shop until at least past 10:30.
Yeah.
My days don't end. I get home. I wouldn't say I'm stressed. I'm fatigued. I'm mentally fatigued.
Yeah.
Physically, I could probably still go all night if I had to.
Oh, sure.
But my mind doesn't rest. And that's what causes me to lose sleep, honestly. Just because I cannot be in such a state. Oftentimes, I'll have, I'll de-stress by having a beverage here and there. That definitely helps, to indulge a little bit. I'm sure some of you have seen me indulge a little bit, maybe a lot of bit too. But that's what helps. That's what numbs me a little bit, and that's my escape.
You have to shut down. You have, whether it's, in my case, it's TikTok late at night, or if it's like, when I was drinking very much, I can tell you my Thursday was my busiest day. So I would leave work and then I would go to whatever establishment where usually my friend was playing music, and I would sometimes drink to a point where I was like, woof, boy, Friday's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But I needed to do it, because if I didn't do it, there was no time. Like I would get home about 8 o'clock, and then I would just immediately walk downtown, because if I didn't do that for myself, that was my only way. What is it? Like, I've seen where they say people stay up late at night because they are because their time has been robbed from them the whole day. That the only time late at night is when no one has any expectation on them, so they can maybe relax and do their thing.
That's true. That's funny you say that, because if I go out, I'm typically the last one there. The last one to arrive. So the entire party is already, I don't want to say they're
lubricated.
Yeah, that would be the best way of putting it. My old school vocabulary from Brooklyn would say everyone's already booted at that point.
Booted? That's a new one for me.
So when I get there, it's like they wouldn't even remember if I was there or not. But the problem is that I often found myself trying to catch up to them. And that's where you make mistakes.
And if you don't get to eat,
exactly,
that used to be my thing. Like, if I knew some of my friends were going out, I won't say the name of the restaurant because I don't want to give them free advertisement. But I would have a friend that was there, and I'm like, okay, order me a salad and a beer.
I used to do that.
And that was it. So that way, by the time I walked to the place, the food was waiting for me.
Exactly.
And then I didn't have to wait for a drink. I could just pound my beer and let's party.
That's crazy. That's a level of efficiency that I pretty much operate at every day.
And actually now that I've had this last year to lose my mind and then sometimes find it, I can tell you, I don't necessarily miss that pace, but I kind of long for it sometimes. I think I got a lot more done, but now that I've gone feral for the last year, I don't know how to go back to that. And I think that I feel like I'm lazy because I'm not working at that frantic pace anymore, because that's what's been expected of me my whole life, is to work at that level at 11, perfect, all the time, and now I didn't for a year, but then also I really damaged my health.
Yeah.
So, and I think, people don't believe that burnout is real. They don't believe it's real. They think that, you're just being lazy or shiftless, or at least those are the projections that I'm projecting.
My friends from the city, because I don't get to see them very often, but they often will read and hear about my exploits up here of how much I work.
All the time.
So whenever I visit them, they are genuinely worried. In our culture, there's such thing as working yourself to death. And Carol and Melvin and John, they genuinely fear that I will die from
I worry about you. Well, I do. I do worry about you. I do. For real. No joke. I know we're not even, I know we're friends, but we're not I'm not in the tight circle, but watching you, I'm like, Daddy, stop it. When you said that you're going to have the Mondays, I was like, yay. One day, I know that you're not, I know that you're not going to stop, but I know that it's going to be one less thing to do in the day.
Mondays, being at the shop for 5 hours, it was way better than being there for 16. It's a win for me.
And I'm going to say this, and this is, because I don't own a brick and mortar business anymore, and we're sitting here, with 2 microphones and my laptop and doing this, because basically you don't need what you used to need to do radio, especially what I'm trying to do. And I would meet people. I would be out trying to have a beer with my friends or do something like that. And I was not Amanda on the radio at that point. I was Mandy. I'm Mandy who's drinking beers, maybe shots, and doing my own thing. And then I've got people coming up, and I used to work for a very well-known local radio station, and I always said I grew up in front of everybody because I was 22 when I got hired, and I had to be very, the decorum. I had to be perfect and prim and all that. Yeah. And people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Well, why did you do this?" Or I don't like the music change, and they would just come up, and I'm like, listen, I'm out with my friends. Yeah. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
I used to get followed, and rest in peace, the man has passed away now, but I used to get followed at the grocery store by a man who would tell me all of the things that I did in the day. Oh, I heard you do this and that and this and that. I'm like, I just want to buy my food and go home. It is 9:30 at night. I just got off work. I just want to get my frozen pizza and go home. Leave me alone. But no, but because you are in the public, and I know that you're not. I know you're grateful for the people who approach you. But can you just lay off once in a while?
It's like, okay, so every Monday, let me share this snippet.
Oh,
so
no.
every Monday, I will clean the steam table because typically my mom would do it on Sunday nights as soon as we close, but I don't want to do it on Sunday nights because I would rather have family dinner earlier. So when my parents aren't here, I close on Mondays. I'll do it on Monday morning so that on Sunday night we can close somewhat early and me and my head chef can actually go out and have dinner and shoot the shit for a little bit at like 7:30 as opposed to grabbing dinner at 8:30, because you know what? He's fucking tired too. And I don't want the last thing I want to do is stress him the fuck out.
Right.
Which I do.
Well,
It's it's not by choice, trust me. And I say that to him all the time. I always tell him because we have a mic ordering system where I shout out items that are things that needs to be addressed. And I tell him, I can feel his frustration sometimes. I get it. And at the end of the day, I always tell him, I'm sorry. If I didn't have to use the mic to ask you to do something, I wouldn't. If I could do it on my own, I would. But the fact of the matter is, I needed to go to the mic and ask you to perform a task. Trust me. That was the last thing I wanted to do.
because you understand the pressure, you are more mindful than the average person.
Yeah.
You understand, like I bet you when you finally get to go out for dinner, you probably are, you're an even more gracious customer because you know what goes into basically running a restaurant and the things people take that for granted. And then they're so mean these days.
Yeah. That's it's I could say yeah, I have to agree. I feel like people are meaner nowadays, which is an excellent point because people used to be even meaner to me and my parents at the shop. But now, especially over the last 10 years that I've been way more active in the business and sharing stories through social media, sharing perspectives and viewpoints, and literally how some of this work is performed, people have definitely become a lot more gracious, a lot more understanding. I had, without naming them, we had a lot of assholes the first 20 years here.
As somebody who grew up here, I can only imagine.
We had a lot of assholes. There's actually something I brought with me today.
Which if Teddy says okay, I'll take a picture for the social media
Please,
stuff that
go
I do.
right ahead. That's part of my motivation right there, this piece that I brought in today. One of the biggest wins for me in this business is those assholes are now not assholes because they learned.
And you were the one that was instrumental in teaching that lesson.
It's, I don't even forget going into the stereotypes and the racism that we faced moving up here. It's just the basic ignorance of some people not understanding what it takes to be not just a small business owner, but a restaurant owner. I feel like small business owners are a different breed of person nowadays. It's not, people really are so clueless about it. And one of my goals for social media, ever since we became China Cafe, because Flaming Wok was a franchise, we weren't able to market the way I would have liked. But now that it's China Cafe, guess what? I've been able to provide all of these behind the scenes intel. I've been able to share our family adventures. I've been able to actually show you guys that we're not fucking robots. We don't my parents just don't fucking work 100+ hours a week. I honestly hate myself most days when I get home because I feel so robotic. And I've expressed this to my parents before in the past, even right at the counter in Chinese, because I couldn't express it to my mom in English.
Right.
Because if I could do this in English, people would actually hear it at the counter and be like, oh shit, they kind of have in-depth conversations when the time allows.
Yeah.
I've literally told my mom, I'm sorry, I can't be a robot. Like, that's just not who I am. You did it with Dad. I got nobody.
No, I love you know what, I just love your that you're just so open about that, because you know your parents' generation probably were not allowed to, because my parents were never allowed to bitch if they were working too hard. You know what I mean? Like in my and then when I cry, uncle,
They would say you're soft.
yes. And when I cry uncle and I'm like, I can't, I'm broken down, I'll tell you what, I'm still met with that in my family.
Oh,
like, you should work harder.
That's the thing. I don't bitch about the working harder part, and I don't bitch about the amount of work.
No. I
I bitch about how much I have to give myself up to the work.
And that's, you know, it's funny that you said robot, because I very much feel like I'm a robot, and you know, I like robots, so that's okay, you know.
Skynet, be careful.
As you saw our robot, my robot art earlier today. But I feel very much like a robot, and I think I've been a people pleasing beep beep robot for the last 30 years, and because I've had to keep face, you know, and I
Yes,
didn't want to be
I
soft,
completely understand, trust me.
and it sucks, doesn't it, Teddy? It
Completely.
fucking sucks.
Completely.
And you know, and you are awesome for what you do, and you show people you show people the gritty side, but you never complain. It's a dose of reality. And I hope that people who are about to go into small business, or who already are there, or who are super critical of small business, can see that and be like, huh, maybe I shouldn't be such a jerk.
I mean, hey, if you're a jerk, you're a jerk. You know, that if that's in your nature, great. You know, I won't
Some of
critique you.
my favorite people are jerks.
Yeah, it's true. So, mine too. I just give you more credit for, I guess, being realer than most.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But you can
Props
be
to you.
real and not cruel. And that's the
Exactly.
difference. You
That's
know,
the
I
difference right
I can be a jerk. I think there's a lot of people who would say I'm a jerk, and because I'm very real. Sometimes I do not mince words. My ex-husband wrote his mom's obituary and put in it, "She did not suffer fools." And I'm like, boy, that's a good one. And I don't think I do either, and I don't think you do either.
You know, it's funny. We bring up jerks. Over the last, probably, I don't even know when I started to realize this. I feel like, and I think I might have expressed this once somewhere else. For me to be an asshole, and this is, please don't take this as me just trying to toot my own horn here. I honestly feel like it takes me more energy and effort to be a douche than to be nicer about things. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like for me to be an asshole, I have to go out of my way to be an asshole for some reason. It takes me more energy that I don't have to spend to be an asshole. Like, if something shitty happens in my life, chances are I'm not going to talk about it. And if I do, it's going to be so quick, it might even be barely noticeable. Because you know what? I don't have that time and energy to be that negative. That's just the way it is. I'll express it very, like, abruptly, probably. Very, like, you know, under the table-ish.
Yeah.
But it won't be anything that would, like, be everlasting on anyone's minds.
I need
But
to take
the
a
ones
page
that
out of
do-
your book.
The ones that do pay attention, they do lock it up and store it in their memory banks. And, you know, the ones that do pick that up are truly the ones that pay attention to me.
And honestly, like I said, I've known who you were for many years, but our friendship has only been the last few years. But I would not want to suffer the wrath of Teddy, because I know that if I got there, it would take a lot to get there, because you're not that guy. You just aren't.
You really, really have to piss me off to really, really feel any sort of rage that I would have to unleash on you.
I wouldn't want to be on that end of it, though.
The punching bag is the on the end of that.
Yeah.
And the pads. My favorite stress relief is to hit the bag and hit the pads, train with some of my guys.
I walk circles around my neighborhood listening to angry music. That's how I get it out.
I tell people hitting a bag and hitting pads is better than catching a felony.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And
Be smart, people.
I have one of those. I have a bag, but it's the ones that go back and forth, and I don't like it that much. But it's in my creepy basement, so I don't go down there very often. And that's probably why I'm so angry all the time, because I haven't punched the shit out of that bag in a while.
Yeah, maybe later tonight.
I'm gonna go beat the shit out of that bag.
It might work wonders.
Teddy told me to do this.
Yeah. I honestly feel better. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, but the thing is, it's like you are very, very open about, and the word struggle is not it, but you're very open about what you have to go through and what you do to get through it, and that's very admirable. Like I think there's a lot of people who look up to you that you don't even know about.
I hear that a lot. I don't. You know, I want to tell people about the struggle. I don't like to talk about it often, but I have to mention it every so often just because I want people to realize that Teddy's not a robot and there is a person behind that counter. And I want people to also realize that, and I say this very often, I pray that you don't have to do the things I have to do. I pray that you don't have to work 95 plus hours consistently a week. I pray that you have the opportunities to live, because quite honestly, over the last 10 years, the times that I've had to live have been very few and far in between. The only time I have to live basically is when I leave town. I literally cannot get any time off unless I leave the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if I'm in the neighborhood, guess what? That means I'm going to be at the shop, whether it's going to be a full day or a few hours.
Always working.
There is no release.
Always
there is
working.
no relief. If I'm in town, I'm working, basically.
And you know, what I've noticed is that you have been able to have a little bit more of adventure in the last, a little bit, not by much.
And you know what? A lot of people, it's a very misconception. This is kind of like how I talk about, I don't want to share the negatives in my life. But the fact of the matter is, when I leave town for a few days, it's typically for doctor's appointments. And to be quite honest, they're not even my appointments.
And you're just making the best of a bad situation while you're down there, right?
I try to make it as painless as possible for my parents. And that typically involves, chilling at a casino for a day or 2 or 3. Eating whatever you want. Do whatever you want, Mom and Dad. I really don't care. I just want to see you live.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because,
and not behind that counter.
No, because again, because your parents have been a staple for as long as I can remember. Because I lived in Ausable, so I didn't have a driver's license, so I didn't get to go to the mall much until I was probably in my late teens. So it was definitely around the time your folks would have opened that up, I was actually going to the mall more. So I was I would go there, and it was so your parents have been here as long it's just been part of the community as long as I can remember. And they've always been hard workers. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that you're encouraging your parents to not be robotic. I'm glad. I don't know how I know it's got to be hard though, because I don't know how old your folks are, but my dad's in his 70s, and I'll tell you, it's hard to get him to do anything.
My dad is now 75, and
Same age as my dad.
No offense, kids, but he also is way harder than a lot of you kids.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that makes me really sad, honestly. My mom will be 67 this year. And guess what? She hustles harder than you guys too.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
And it's always, she's always smiling, she's always happy, she's always polite, she's always lovely. Your parents are awesome. You know what? And they raised you and your brother.
I could be better, and I could do better.
Knock it
and
off.
I can do more.
You're doing, Teddy, you're doing great. You just made me give you my teacher eyes. Like, you're doing great. But because, you know what? But the thing is like sometimes I think that I'm too vulnerable, and I think that it pushes people away because I tell people the things that they don't want to hear. Somebody, like I've been struggling with my mental health very openly for the last year and a half or longer, and I think it makes people uncomfortable. And sometimes I wonder, like, are people like talking about me behind my back, thinking like I'm a loser because I'm talking about I'm struggling, and it could be worse, it could be harder. But you know what? I'm hoping that sometimes when I do talk about that stuff, it makes somebody feel a little bit more comfortable to talk about their thing.
It makes you relatable.
I hope so.
I come from a culture that doesn't give a shit about your mental health, honestly.
No.
And I'm not saying that to like dog my culture,
It's reality.
but it's reality. It's also, on top of reality, it's also their generation. For me to talk about any sort of mental health issue, I never, even to this day, we basically don't talk about it. If we were to talk about it, you're just weak. Work harder.
Yeah.
Do better.
Yeah.
If not do better, then do more.
Yeah.
You just power through it. And that's the culture I grew up with. That's the culture I grew around. That's the mentality I grew around. But on the flip side, guess what? The last few times that I've been visiting overseas, particularly Hong Kong, you will see advertisements in their public transportation system, on the buses, on the trains, where they will have this like toll-free number for you to call.
That's
So I've seen the
amazing.
growth in the culture out there.
It's
It's becoming more and more prominent, and maybe in everyday life, in culture. Just the fact that you can even see any sort of advertisement that will reach any of the general public if you're utilizing these methods of transportation. Just the fact that you even see this is a huge win in our culture.
Oh my God.
I applaud the government for that.
Well, I have to wonder, is it because people that are our age are now in charge, and they've grown up and they've seen like how detrimental it is even though it's the culture, like
Yeah.
something's got to give. We're losing our people because they're just so stressed out and they work so hard.
They're probably, yeah. I mean, that's very characteristic of my culture, that this is the mentality. And this has been my parents' mentality. And they've reached it. It's gotten to fruition at this point. We can safely say that. And I say this a lot. My parents are the epitome of the American dream.
Yeah.
Now let that sink in for a little bit, okay? And I'll explain it right now. My parents came here as immigrants. They worked their asses off through all the adversity, from New York City up to here in Plattsburgh. They spent their money wisely. They didn't spend it frivolously. They made the right choices. They made the right plays at the right time, for the most part, where they can retire comfortably. So for people to think that, oh, small business owners, you guys are rich as fuck because you make your own schedules, you make tons of money. No, asshole.
It's called feast and famine. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
My parents they're not millionaires off of this business. Don't get it twisted. And I've said this before too. When I look back at how much work they put in, how little profit margins they were able to sustain over the years, they alone, right off, like just from the business alone, honestly, when I first came up, I thought they should have been millionaires because of how much they work. But guess what? My parents depressed their prices for years. Chinese food, the way we make it, is not fucking cheap, people. All right? So don't come up to me and devalue my work and my effort and tell me it's too expensive. Motherfucker, you can come up here and make it yourself then.
Well, so Teddy earlier was making an order, and you said you have perishables, and what I want people, and I would like you to talk about it maybe because I'm just observing as a customer. You don't use frozen crap.
No.
Everything
guys.
Everything is
It'd be
made
cheaper.
from scratch. It is scratch made, fresh made food, and and again, there's no hate on chicken wings and mozzarella sticks thrown in a deep fryer. There's no hate on that, but that's it's a lot easier if all of your food is basically frozen and pre-prepared and then dipped in a deep fryer.
I wouldn't have to work 95 plus hours a week if I bought everything already pre-made, pre-packaged, and all I had to do is heat it and make a sauce.
Yeah.
We make our own sauces, people.
And okay, so we've talked about the egg roll process. I've seen it on. So how many do you make at a time? Like, I mean, and they're all hand rolled, and they're all everything's shredded. All the vegetables are fresh.
Yeah.
Like
in house.
And everything. You know,
The only thing that's not made in house on the egg rolls is the skins. Because for us to make the skins,
that's got to be a nightmare.
forget it. No, I exit stage left.
No, but I mean, but the thing is like, you know, they're big, they're full, they're generous, they're fresh. It's great. It's good flavor. It's all of it, and it's not just it's not a conveyor belt that is plopping some shredded cabbage in some blop in the middle and then just rolling it up and then putting it in a box and freezing it. Every egg roll that
Not
you
frozen
eat
either.
is no.
After we roll it, it doesn't get frozen.
No, every one that you eat has been rolled, right?
Yes.
It's been rolled in house. So that's like, seriously, I don't think people sometimes realize that. Like, you know, the fact that, you know, you are a scratch made restaurant. You are everything. And I don't think I think people take that for granted.
And I can't blame them, given the setting. Yes, I know exactly where I'm located. I'm located in a food court in a mall. So you know what? You should expect fast, quote unquote, fast food. But there's nothing fast about what we do here because of the simple fact that we're making everything pretty much from scratch, on premise.
You know, and so I've talked to you, I've asked you this privately before, but I want to ask you, because we're talking about the business, like, what is your biggest seller? Like, what's the most popular out of everything
It's
to make?
definitely the sesame chicken. That's I've called it the franchise over the years. The sesame chicken is the franchise.
It's
followed
so
by the
good, and I haven't eaten it in
teriyaki
so
chicken
long.
And the egg rolls. I hear every day that these are the best egg rolls in town. I was never a big egg roll person. I have my friends, Carol, Melvin, and John. Every time I visit, they're like, "Tay, can you just bring egg rolls, please? We need egg rolls. Can you bring egg rolls? We want good egg rolls."
It's the flavor.
Yeah.
It's the flavor. And as somebody who can't, because, you know, like Teddy said I could put my, do you guys still do the fries or no fries? Were there fries?
Yeah.
Okay. Teddy said I can put my vegetables on the fries so I can feel like I'm part of the experience too.
And full confession, I'm not an egg roll fan in general.
No?
But
What's your favorite? Are you sick
this
of
is
them?
going to sound super biased, but guess what? I love ours.
Oh, yeah. Yours are the best in town.
You know, I'm sure some of you have caught me out and about. I'll call it doing my own R&D. I know you guys have seen me out there. And yeah, I'm just doing homework.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm always working.
But
you might see me at dinner, and guess what? I'm working.
Well, that's the thing I want to say too. When Teddy is not working, but he's out doing his own stuff, he's supporting local businesses. Like you are. Like you're very vocal about supporting local business, and that's admirable. You're keeping your money right here in town.
Hey, they're the hustlers. I gotta respect the game.
So I feel like we're hopping around a little bit, but you know, when your folks came here, what brought them to Plattsburgh of all places? How did Plattsburgh show up for them?
So, the first restaurant we actually owned, the first one was actually in Morristown, and that's in New Jersey. So picture this: my parents commuting 7 days a week from Brooklyn. And on top of that, they would stop in Chinatown in Manhattan to pick up the staff because they lived over in Chinatown.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, they had to drive into Jersey.
Oh
so
my
if you're,
God. I hate driving
if
in
you know
Jersey.
anything about the traffic, especially in Manhattan, they had to utilize the Holland Tunnel. And you know what? That's a fucking bitch.
I hate it.
My parents are commuting 2 hours a day, one way.
I've only driven it like 3 times, and I still have trauma from it.
Yeah. The Holland Tunnel is pretty much always busy and always traffic filled. And my parents are doing that 2 hours a day, one way, every day.
You've already put in a full day of work just struggling to get there. Before you even get there, then you got to be there all day.
Yeah.
You know?
That was the first restaurant. And then we had a restaurant in Massapequa Park in Long Island. And
Which is still a nightmare to commute.
yes, definitely.
Did they drive in, or did they?
They still drove. We had to because my parents here's
The
the other
LIR
thing.
stinks.
Yeah. My parents, on top of their commutes, guess what? They're buying their own supplies and hauling it themselves to the restaurant every morning as part of their commute. Because, why? Obviously, you save money if you haul it yourself as opposed to have these wholesalers drop the food off to your restaurant.
And it goes back to your parents making the right moves at the right time.
Exactly.
You know, your parents have built it brick by brick. Like, it's very obvious as the more you tell me. Like, it's good the way they did it, because this is why they're still surviving. I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of mistakes that are made, especially in the pressure these days of small business ownership, where people are just so demanding of you. There's no shortcuts. And people are so demanding, and you're trying to do everything and sometimes you just get overwhelmed. But your parents were very steadfast, like, we're doing it this way, and then we're doing it this way. That's very... that's why this successful.
I think most business owners will agree when I say this. The more work you put into the product, the cheaper it is to produce the product.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Obviously, you're doing all the work, or most of it at least. So if you're buying it already done, it's going to cost you more, because you're paying for their labor to do it.
You got the middleman, like...
Every time I take any sort of vacation, like an extended break, and by extended break, I mean like a week.
I was going to say, 3 days?
Yeah, the 3 days isn't a break at all. But if I'm gone for any extended period of time, I genuinely feel the excitement, the anticipation, the anxiousness of the community being like, oh shit, he'll be back like in 2 days.
Well, it's funny because like people will post on Street Team, you've got such a strong community that if someone asks if you're open, you don't even have to do it. People are like, oh no, Teddy's out of town like you have such a following that like everyone's got your back.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like
I'm super thankful, trust me.
And it's because you deserve it. You deserve it. You're good to our community,
It's
Teddy.
funny you brought up another interesting point. Please, people, stop messaging me, asking me if I'm open, because you can easily, the time you took to ask me that question through a messenger, you could have easily went straight to the page and looked it up right there.
Yeah.
I pinned the post. I'm sorry, guys. If I don't respond to that question, please don't be offended. Even when you commented on a post, are you open? You could have easily just went to the China Cafe page right there.
Yeah. And if you've not followed it, you should follow it now.
If, I'm sorry if I sound like an asshole, but you know what? I try to do all the work before I put a question out there, because I don't want to bother people with a question
Same.
that I think I should be able to answer, or at least research and find the answer.
Yeah.
So don't ask me if I'm open. Just please check the page. There, I post the updates as soon as I can when I get confirmations on schedules.
And you're very good about that. The very informative. Like, this is what we've got going on. Like, so seriously, like, it's emotional labor on small business owners when you do things like that that you could easily do by just doing a search. Like,
Don't be lazy, folks.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that's blatant laziness.
Like the emotional labor that it's that little bit of extra. It's just that little bit of extra work that sometimes at the end of the day you just don't have it.
Wait, watch this. It was a simple question, Teddy. You could have just answered it.
No.
It would only take you 2 seconds to say yes or no, right?
Oh God. I'm sorry.
That's also 2 seconds I didn't need to spend.
No, because you know what? Those 2 seconds are, between you making an order or something else. Like,
people don't understand. Like, I try to be as efficient as possible on a daily basis. So if I could save 30 seconds here, 40 seconds there, a minute here, guess what? That all adds up to, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of freedom at the end of my day.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how much I value my time nowadays, folks. I'm sorry.
And you should.
I work too damn much.
Yeah. It's time for Teddy. Damn it. It's Teddy time.
It's tough for me to admit that. I hear that all the time. Like, a lot of my friends, my closest friends would be like, I need some Teddy time. Like, I just need to see you and hang out with you for a little bit. Even if it's only 5. I get this so much on a weekly basis. And it kills me when I can't meet those kinds of... I don't want to call those commitments, because those are times that is very therapeutic to me too. But if I get out of work at 10:30, 11 o'clock, I go home, shower and change. I've perfected this now. I can be ready. If I'm motivated enough, I could be showered and changed in 15 minutes. And Bambi will attest to that.
Damn.
And I'll be out there by midnight, 12:30 maybe. And some people be like, oh, how come you never got back to me? I'm like, I don't want to bother you at 12:30 midnight. You know, like maybe I just don't want. This is gonna sound really terrible. Maybe I just want to go out and have a drink and not be bothered. I don't need to, like, I don't know, like some people have to have an entourage when they go out. And I used to be one of those people. I used to like call everybody and be like, hey, let's go meet up here, blah, 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 blah. Is everybody going out tonight? Cool. Nah, I don't do that anymore.
Me too. Like I had to have the
time
game.
Sometimes.
Well, do you find it to be like, so that way, if you don't have the entourage, if you change your mind on the way there, you can go home or you can do something different? Because I feel like I don't do it anymore because I don't want to have the obligation. Because sometimes I do just want to go out and be part of the crowd and talk to everybody and not just be, not have to be on. And if I want to change my mind halfway to the event, I can go home.
Yeah. You know what it is? I feel like when you used to go out with multiple people at the, as part of an entourage, it's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
And I just can't commit to that. A lot of times in the group chats, I will see the activities there and they'll be like, yeah, Teddy, we'll see you then, right? I'm like, I often will not respond yes or no because I don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
If I cannot make the appointed time or meet the schedule.
I've been almost too, I think I've lost friends over this. I've almost been too blunt because I've said, like, listen, I don't have the bandwidth today. I can't. I was asked to go out to lunch with somebody tomorrow, and I said no because it's so hot. It's going to be so hot in the next few days that no, I don't want to go out because I don't want to. And now I have to go out because I have a business obligation that I have to go out. And I'm excited about that, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes I just have to say no. And I think that people get upset because, like when you always say yes, when you start saying no for yourself, people are not very nice about it. Yeah, they're not.
Because they're not used to it.
No, like, what do you mean you can't come out?
Yeah, exactly. I get that all the time. All the time.
I literally can't. I literally cannot. I have showered, I have changed my clothes, and now I've become part of the couch. I cannot.
It's rough. I have people that will message me at all hours of the day, be like, hey, you didn't make it out tonight. Or like at 1 a.m., we're at the ward. Where are you? I'm like,
home. Go away.
And some of these people will literally tell you, oh, Teddy's messaged back, and guess what? He's still at the shop. I'll even take pictures of me still at the shop as a response.
And
then they shut up.
And the thing is like, because you put 100% into everything you do, everything, whether it's whatever, doesn't matter. You put 100% into it.
Can't half-ass anything.
Well, I mean, like, going back to how we first met, like, we met through the Pedal It Forward program that you do with Nelson's, and that's something that you take a day away from the shop to go out and do that, like, but for a little bit, but then you go back to the shop. Yeah. Like you give away flowers and then you're going back to the shop.
And do you know what kills me about that? Especially when my parents are in town. If I don't close the shop, that means for me to step away from the shop, that means my parents have to work, and that's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah,
they already work hard enough as it is when they're there. When I'm not there, they have to work even harder because I'm not there. And that's what kills me the most when I'm not there and the shop is open. Because I carry that with me the entire time I'm not at the shop, knowing that my parents are there. Even when I go out on date nights and, when I excuse myself for a Monday night or a Tuesday night to go out for date night, it kills me because I'll be there having my dinner, and more often than not, it's usually not date night. It's just me having dinner with friends.
It's a date night. It's date night with yourself.
Yeah.
You got to build that in.
That's what it is. It's in the back of my mind, I am thinking about shit. It's super busy, and I left my parents because I want to do something for myself, and that kills me. And there are times where I will sit there and I will go on my phone and check my cams to see how busy it is when I'm not there.
Which is more reason, if you see Teddy out enjoying himself, if you want to talk about work, just say, love the food, man. See you later. Enjoy your night. That's fine. That's enough.
That's enough.
That's enough. Just, if you can't, just pay a compliment and move on. Or maybe just say hi.
Well, thanks for saying that, Amanda.
Well, it's true. Because you know what? I won't say the person. I won't say what this. I will tell you afterward, but I won't say the person. But I was eating dinner once with a friend of mine, and there was a person who I had worked with. We've done work together, and they were just kind of like a little gnat. You know, we had our food and we're trying to eat and talk. And my friend lived far away, and we were just enjoying our date night. Then this person just would not shut up about work, and I was like, I just want to eat my food while it's still warm. Please, just leave me alone. Send me an email, make an appointment. I'm not a jerk, but Jesus Christ, let me just be. So yes, please leave Teddy alone. You know what? I'm crazy. So if you need an enforcer, I'll just
No,
you can pay me in egg rolls.
no felonies.
Oh no, not enough to be a felony.
That's
Just stern talking to. That's all.
it's it all boils back to time and respect. I try to respect everyone's time. I try to work around everyone's schedule.
And
It's that simple.
And I think that you the way when you say that when you tell people that you're not going to be that you're not going to be in or you're open that day, like you always say that, please respect our time, and I've actually kind of thought about that in my own head, the way I don't maybe
You know
there's
what's messed up?
what
My friends brought this. I think Lisa brought this to my attention one day. She was like, "It's pretty fucked up that you even have to state that."
That's what I was going to say. It is. It's like you wouldn't be saying it if some things didn't trigger it. You wouldn't just be saying it arbitrarily. It's not something you would just say like, "Listen, respect my time." But the fact that you say it, it's kind of trickled down to me. I'm like, you know what? There are sometimes like when I'm working, I have to say that. Yeah, Teddy, fuck yeah. Respect my time too, motherfuckers. And it's true. Like you shouldn't have to. We live in such a world because we're all not say we all are, because not all of us are like this, but so many of us are keyboard warriors where they just talk shit, they leave a comment on something, and then they walk away, and they're gonna do whatever they do. But then if you're the one that receives it, you're like, well, shit. What did I, and then maybe it doesn't bother you, but when I get something like that, that's that critical over something I'm doing my best, it eats me for days.
Dude, if you're gonna talk shit, at least look at the reply.
Yeah, yeah. Like
That's fine.
Like
it's fine to talk shit. I don't mind that, honestly. Just read the responses.
yeah.
Don't just talk shit, express your opinion, and then leave it at that. At least leave yourself open to read feedback
Yeah.
and a response. Because maybe you'll learn something. Maybe, you know what? I learned something too out of it, honestly.
So how has the feedback been about that? Have you gotten pushback when you have to? I mean, it's fucked up that you have to say it, period, but
I've had people genuinely get mad and curse me out because I wasn't open. And to my face at the shop.
okay, I'm going to say something that sounds probably terrible, and this is no disrespect to chain restaurants.
And I don't respond to that.
No.
I let them say their piece, and then, honestly, I tell them sorry. But at the end of in my head, honestly, what I'm saying is #sorry, not sorry.
You're a staff of 4. You're a staff of 4 with scratch-made food. Like, leave me alone.
You couldn't even lace up my retro Jordans, let alone any of my Air Force Ones.
I love it. So yeah, that's kind of one of your hobbies, right? Like, would you call it a hobby? Because I'm a collector, so I don't know. Is it a hobby? Is it collect? What would you call it?
My favorite athlete is Michael Jordan. I love sneakers. I think part of the reason I love sneakers is because growing up, I loved Jordan, but I knew that my parents would not pay $100 for a pair of Jordans for me at that time. And this is another thing I've been saying for years. Nostalgia sells better than sex. Just look around you, folks. I am trying, and I've expressed this to all of my peers and colleagues. I feel like a lot of us are trying to buy some of our childhood.
Oh, I know I am.
Because we couldn't afford it at the time, or because our parents didn't want to spend that money at that time.
Or they couldn't.
Literally. It wasn't part of they couldn't afford it in the budget. And I've analyzed this. This is me buying back some of my childhood that I couldn't have. And that's no diss to my parents either.
No.
They're just being more efficient with their funds at that time. And I am blessed and I'm thankful to be able to do some of this, you know. At the same time, I will look at it and be like, wow, that was kind of a stupid purchase. But at the time, it did give me some utility, as we call it in economics. At the end of the and I get this question a lot too. Well, why, what's up with all the sneakers? Why? Honestly, 99% of the sneakers I buy, I don't wear. But I think if I build up a decent enough collection, I might sell them at an auction house, and maybe it'll fetch a good ransom, let's say, and then I'll just probably put it back towards charity.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll keep 1% of it. Who knows?
But,
who knows what it'll be worth?
But you're collecting something that is valuable. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like
It's valuable to the right people.
Yeah.
You know, my parents would be like, "Wow, Teddy, you had 10 pairs of sneakers this week. The fuck you doing? How much room do you have?"
Well, see, I feel that way about Doc Martens because my very first pair my mom bought me for my 15th birthday, and they were $95, and I think this would have been closed by the time you guys got here. Was Aldo shoes? Was
Yes.
that still in the mall at that point?
No.
I don't know. So Aldo had these Doc Martens, and they're the ones that are made in England, and they were my only
Legit?
present. That oh my god, they were legit. And but the problem is they sold me two different sizes. They gave me the display, and I wore them one, and I'm like, these are weird. So I got my new shoes. They're both same size, and I've had those shoes. I'm 47. I've had those shoes since I was 15. My mother sacrificed for me to have those shoes. And now that I'm a grown-up, I can buy vintage Doc Martens. I haven't bought them in a long time because I'm broke. But I bought a pair of the ones I wanted as a kid. I wanted the ones that go up to the knee. And I found a pair on Etsy for $100. And I was like, I'm buying those. I'm buying those because, again, it was bought. My mother had to scrimp and save for that. I had gotten my tax return or something. And I'm like, I'm buying myself a fancy pair of shoes. Have I worn them? I'm kind of afraid to because they're so vintage. I'm afraid they're going to fall apart. But yeah, I was buying something for 15-year-old me that she couldn't have. But guess what? 45-year-old me was able to do it.
Exactly.
And I totally 100% support your shoes.
Nostalgia. It's a powerful thing.
It is because why do people buy records? Why are people buying old video games? Like why are we? One of my favorite things is if I watch a clip on YouTube and they include the old commercials.
Yeah.
I want because I don't think I was ever able to really enjoy being a child.
Same. To be honest with you,
my parents were
that's the
small
same for
business
me.
owners too. They owned an antique shop, and a lot of times it was feast or famine. It was like sometimes you made a lot of money, sometimes you made no money. And then my dad had a job outside of the home too, but he left when I was a kid, so my mom was a single mom, and it was really hard.
It's funny you talk about not having a childhood because oftentimes I will also say I didn't have a childhood. My parents had me working at the restaurant when I was like maybe as early as 8 years old.
Yeah.
On the weekends. Because, Monday to Friday we're in school, but on the weekends they will bring us to work. And, we're not doing anything major, obviously. But I was waiting tables.
Of course.
When I was like 8.
Of course.
Maybe 9.
Yeah.
And Alvin in the back, he's like doing dishes, pouring water for our guests. Getting
It's
the
a family
tea.
affair. When your parents own a business, everybody chips in.
Yeah. I wasn't, on the weekends, I would see a lot of my classmates. They'd be like, going on trips with their parents, maybe playing baseball with the neighborhood kids, going to the basketball courts. I didn't have that.
Oh, no.
When I played basketball, I love basketball. I was playing, on the weekends, I was playing basketball at about 7 in the morning.
Yeah, so you
And
can
you
get
know
it
what
in for work.
happens? My dad will come to the court he will drive over with my mom, and he will pick my ass up to go to work at 8:30. That's the time I had to play basketball.
Yeah. And then the thing is, it's like with my folks, again, like we had this antique shop that was attached to our house. So my first job was the greeter. Because, people would knock on the door to come to the shop. So I would unlock the shop. I would walk them around, my mom, whatever. I was the first. It wasn't much of a job, but it was my first job. And I was doing that 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Because, and then that was it. And my family's vacations, we were at antique shows or at flea markets. There's no vacation. But that's the thing is like, I'm very grateful for that growing up because it was kind of a very, bohemian sort of way to grow up. And it's good. Do you need to get that?
No.
Oh, what's that?
I wanted to show you that this is my phone.
Oh,
all
okay.
day.
Of course.
Notifications from various social media. Let me show you another thing.
Well, I was going to ask
Look at the numbers.
Good Christ.
Emails.
No, thank you.
Text messages. Yeah.
Like, so seriously, like, you know, I'm hoping that this show really kind of is an eye opener to the life of a small business owner who really gives a shit, who really cares. Because I think that sometimes, again, small businesses don't succeed because the owners don't realize just how much hard work it is, you know?
I got to give a shout out to, now that you bring this up, I got to give a shout out to the lovely Diane Natashak. She was a long-time manager of Taco Bell in the mall. And one of the golden pieces of advice she has given me is no business, especially a small business, is successful unless the owner works it.
Yeah, 100%. And I was the one working 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Like, people would see my car. What are you still? They were coming back from the bars. What are you still doing downtown? I'm editing. I'm doing the logs. I'm doing all the things I couldn't do during the day because I was doing those things. And these are the things that need to get done, regardless of the time it is.
Yeah.
So I still did it.
My sleep, for me to sleep.
Like, when do you sleep? Because
for me
I've honestly
to-
wondered this.
Like, you know, for me to engage in any leisure activities, especially at nighttime, comes at the expense of sleep.
Of course.
You know? So for me to meet up with some of yous at 1 a.m., and chances are we're going to hang out for 2 hours at least, that's going to be 2 hours less of any sort of peace and quiet I'll have.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe I could have slept within an hour. That's the price I pay for leisure activities.
You sacrifice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing as a business owner. You have to pick and choose. Mm-hmm. You know, so over the last few years, I've been struggling with this. Don't get me wrong. I would love to go out all the time and shoot the shit with so many of you. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't have the time to do it as much as I'd love to.
So that way,
And I love playing video games. Guess what? I sacrificed a lot of that too.
Well, I was going to say, you know what? If you're hanging out and you get to hang out with Teddy, see, now you know. Like seriously, like, so people who are your friends that get to hang out with you, I hope that this opens. I know your horror people know.
Oh my, the people that I consistently hang out with, they completely understand because, and they tell me too, they're like so thankful. And I'm not, please don't praise me as some person that is so like on some godly level that some of you do praise me as. My friends that I actually get to hang out with on a semi-regular occasion, they're always like, thank you so much for coming. Like, they're so thankful. I'm like, dude, like, it's just me. Like, you don't have to be like this thankful. Like, I'm sorry I can't do this more often with you.
But I'm here today and enjoy me while I'm here.
and that's their mentality.
You know, and when I was owned the radio station, that was a big thing. Like, I had some friends that were very okay with it. Whenever I wandered in, if I broke plans at the last minute or whatever, they were cool. And then I had one tell me, "Fuck you and your small business owner bullshit." I think was the direct quote from her.
Yeah.
And we lost. We were not friends anymore because you're not going to say that to me. Like, I'm just trying to survive.
I'm not using it as an excuse. I don't say like I'm sorry. I'm not saying I don't. When I say I'm sorry I ran out of time or I'm sorry I don't have time, I'm not using it as an excuse. I just have to prioritize, and I apologize for that because I know I've lost a lot of contact with people that just don't want to respect that quote unquote excuse.
And it's,
but that's the only one I got.
But it's not even. It's again. We've talked about reality a lot in this episode, and it's true. It's just the reality of your life. And if people can't fit in around your reality, then they don't deserve a place at your table. Period.
It makes you question if your friendship or if there was a friendship then.
I get that. But I don't want to forget. I want to talk about the picture, though. I don't want to forget this because we're probably going to wrap up in a little bit. But I want Teddy brought something, and I don't know what it is because I'm very I'm not very, I don't have very good eyesight. So I wanted to be a little
provide
closer.
some background. on
Okay.
this. So I'm pretty sure this was in the summer of 2014. Before I left, my brother was getting married in China. So before I left, I thought it would be a great idea to post this. You can't see it now, but there's a picture of my brother and his wife Jill in the middle, and it's surrounded by a canvas frame, I guess we would call it, right?
Yeah.
So I left it out there on the counter for people to post messages, wishing well from the community, because my brother still has a lot of friends that live here. And I don't know if you can see some of it.
Well, there's just so.
But this is something that motivates me every day. I don't look at this every day. To be quite honest with you, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Do you see some of this?
I love it. So I mean,
no, look at the details.
This like,
Trust me.
People like when you have to pass around a card at a job or whatever. There's no free space. There's people writing it. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing, and it's just wow.
Let me tell you what
please.
motivates me about this.
This is wonderful.
One of the comments says, "Bitch, please."
I saw it's written quite at the top, quite big. I was going to ask about that.
Other comments are also saying, "Please don't eat my cat."
No.
There's a lot of racist shit on this actually, and I have not given this to my brother. I've mentioned this one time to my brother because I said I wanted to share a special gift from our community to you.
Oh, I'm angry. So this is not a term of endearment. This isn't one of his friends doing bitch please. It's because I thought that was. This
took quite a turn now, didn't it?
What the fuck?
This is what I meant by look a little deeper into this.
Because I see this. I see things.
There's a lot of racial.
What the fuck? Okay, I see nice things
here.
like congratulations. I pray God blesses your marriage, and then it's got the people's name. I see the good things, and now that you make me look.
Now, yeah.
Oh, this is.
Feel free to say it if you want.
I can't. I don't say those
Imagine
things.
how much it hurts me. And like I said, I've mentioned this once to my brother because I told him, I don't know if I want to present this to you anymore. This has been in my closet for about, I want to say maybe 7 years. I haven't touched this. But today I felt like I needed to bring this for some reason.
I thought that was a term of...
I never talked about this publicly.
Well, I thought that was a term of endearment. When you, maybe it was one of his friends, like, bitch, please, you're finally married or something like that. I did not realize this was a very inflammatory, shitty thing to say. No, I can't. You can feel free to say the things if you want, but I'm not...
This was one thing I needed to get off my chest.
I can't say these things. I can't. Because you know what could have been something really good and really sweet
exactly
has to be
tarnished.
Did you ever read Catcher in the Rye when you were a kid? Did you ever have to read that?
Yes, I don't remember it.
Well, for me with books, like I saw a meme recently, like, can't you just enjoy the vibe and it'd be okay with the fact we don't remember everything in the book? Why can't we just enjoy the vibe? Yeah. I enjoy the vibe of books, but I do remember one line in it where I'm paraphrasing, so people can correct me, but it was basically about how things are ruined with a fuck you. Like, no matter, you could be at the highest building and someone's got to write fuck you and ruin it. Yeah. Someone's got to fucking write fuck you and ruin something for everybody else. And that's what this says to me. What could have been, it's a beautiful picture of your brother and his bride, and what could have been a beautiful thing that could be hanging in their home forever and ever has got to be tarnished by shitheads. Yeah. If you feel free to read some of the things if you want to, because I can't because I don't, it's going to make me angry, like super angry. The cat, really? You sure you don't want security? I promise I won't be felony.
No, I like to handle things.
I know.
Hands-on.
What's your sign, Teddy? Are you Cancer?
Correct.
Okay, because you said you're coming up this summer, so yeah, you guys are a lot. I'm an Aries. We're just not.
July 5th.
Oh, you're coming up.
It's like I said, I haven't looked at this in probably about 7 years.
So he knows about it, and you only talked about it to him once?
Literally, one time I referenced this to him.
What did he say?
He said, if I recall, he said, we can kind of erase it. I'm like, I didn't, like I said, there's a reason why I haven't presented it. There's also a reason why I haven't looked at it in a long time, but there's also a reason why I kept it too.
Yeah. And that, like, when you say, because you know what, because I'm so innocent, because I believe in the best in people. I thought you were bringing this today because I know your brother doesn't live here anymore, and I thought it was like, your way of, you being like, this is my brother and this is my family. I did not expect that. I'm very disappointed in anybody who did something like that. And though if Teddy's given me permission, I will be taking a picture of this. Whether we share it or not, I don't know. I'm angry, so we may not.
Please, to be honest with you, please take a picture. Please share it. I don't know if I'm forgiving enough, I guess, maybe. I'm not sure how I want to express that. For a long time, honestly, I've been wanting to share this publicly. Just to, like, I don't like to, by now I hope you understand that I'm not a person that will spread and talk much about negativity, but I will talk about realistic perspectives, and this is a very realistic perspective that I deal with on a daily basis. This is what motivates me, the haters.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's those haters that probably, I don't want to say there's some jealousy on their end, but they're hating on me for a reason, and that keeps me going. And every great athlete, every great competitor will say that, right?
Yeah, I'm primarily motivated by spite, usually.
Yeah.
And I know people would be like, well, that's not very, that's not very calm and nice of you. No, for real. Because I already know the people that like me. I don't have to prove myself to them. But it's the people that don't like me, I don't have to prove myself to them either. But I will succeed despite what you think and despite what you do.
And
I feel honored that you felt comfortable to share that with me. I'm very disappointed in the people that ruined what could have been a very beautiful memory for your brother. And you're a good brother for doing that.
I would love for you to share this. And if this ever gets shared and people do see this piece, I would honestly love for the people that wrote negative things on this to come forward. Whether you do or not, hey, you could hide. And I will forgive you.
I will say this.
It actually hurts me to say that.
You know what, though? It doesn't detract from how beautiful they are. But you're a good friend and you're a good brother, and that's shitty things. But for you to forgive them...
I just like to attach a face to that comment.
Teddy, you're gonna make me cry. Damn it, Teddy.
I will forgive him. I will. I just don't want the person to be a coward about it. I'd rather have a face.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the best part. Remember in the beginning, at some point, I talked about those assholes that are now actually like, I don't want to call them good customers, but not asshole customers anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these people that wrote the negative comments have grown.
We can only hope.
Which is also another reason why I'd wish for you to come forward.
And, the thing that breaks...
Because we can see growth. And then, you know what? That's a positive story that we can all share and learn from, too.
And I as somebody who grew up here and can honestly say it has gotten better, this was only 10 years ago. That's not that long ago. And I think that just you being vulnerable enough to share that, maybe that puts some reality, again, with the reality behind these keyboard warriors and people who just say shitty things for the sake of sport.
You know what's crazy? the first time I saw this, those negative comments stood out so much. Like I was easily able to locate it.
I'm glad that you can't right now.
No, I can't. When I want to look for it, I can't find it. But trust me, it's there. I'm not lying. It's
Oh,
not
no.
bullshit.
See, and I feel like a bad person because I thought the bitch please was just a term of funny endearment with one of your friends. Because you know why? Because I don't operate from a place of public shame. I would never do anything like this. It would never occur to me to put a fuck you someplace, you know? It would never occur to me to be that type of person. Oh.
And you know what? It's because of this. This is one of the major reasons why I put up cams. When I came back and when I read these comments, that's when I was like, you know what? As a security measure, maybe I should have a couple cameras up just for whatever purposes.
Yeah. That's the world. It's unfortunate that is the world that we are in. You have to. Well, Teddy, you're one hell of a human.
Thank you.
You really are. And now I'm
I try to be.
Don't make me cry, you fucker.
I'm trying to make her cry
Don't do
by
it.
giving her actual, real, unfiltered perspective. This is probably like the most unfiltered that many of you will ever hear me.
I'm honestly, you when I didn't choose you just for the heck of it. I chose you because, again, I find you to be one of the most sincere and genuine people in our community. I know what you do. I see how you help. You never ask for anything. You just do. And you are a real, you and your family are real, honestly, just the best of the best when it comes to the Plattsburgh community. You really are.
Well, thank you.
And I
Just
am
trying to be model citizens.
and I'm happy that despite the bullshit, you guys still keep showing up as the good people that you are. I'm glad. I'm sad that you had to miss your senior year in Brooklyn, but I'm glad that you did because you came here.
Well,
And now
one
you're
of
my
my
friend.
favorite sayings is "Omnia vincit amor."
What's that?
I studied Latin for 2 years, and that translates to "Love conquers all."
Oh, and you are love, Teddy. You really are, and you are loved. And you made me cry. Goddamn, that's it. I'm done. The end. So, Teddy, thank you for being my first guest because, like, I was, we've had conversations before, and it's like, I find you really easy to talk to, and I admire your grind, and I just admire how much of a hard worker you are, and it means a lot to me as somebody who knows how little time you have that you spent the last few hours sitting here BSing with me. It means
Thanks
a lot.
for first off, thanks for allowing me to be the first guest. Also, thank you for giving me an outlet to share some perspectives and experiences.
I think sometimes people, again, we have, as a society, have dissociated from this. There's a disconnect between human beings and just doing what you want. And I know there's people I've hurt. I know I have hurt people, whether I intend to or not. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's such a disconnect between people. We don't know our neighbors anymore. We don't care. We're just so autonomous, and it's just me or nothing. And the fact that you felt comfortable enough to open up like this means a lot to me. I'm taking it as a very good omen for things to come on Tales from the Zeeborhood.
Definitely.
So if people don't know the infamous Teddy Chan, tell people how they can find you and all that good stuff.
You can obviously find me at work. I'm right in the mall. It's hard to miss if you go anywhere near the food court. The name of the business is China Cafe. And you can easily find me on social media. I try to be active everywhere, except for TikTok, because that's going to get banned soon, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm not good at it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I have
same.
4 TikTok videos, and they're not doing very well.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence whether I even want to start that or not, because I barely have enough time for everything else.
Besides, you can do it with an Instagram reel anyway. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Teddy, thank you again. Your time is precious, and I respect your time. So I'm very glad that you had some time to sit down with me today. I appreciate you.
Amanda.
And thank you for all the good things that you do. So thank you. Wow. I think that's a good way to end it. Teddy Chan, Thank you very much for being my first guest and being just an all-around awesome human being.
Thank you.
And
It's a pleasure.
You're the best, and you better hope I don't ever figure out who did some of that on the. I'm just saying, might have to. That's me hitting my fist in case you didn't know. But hey, thanks for standing up in the face of adversity and being an example of what to do and what instead of being what not to do, which is what some of these people are. So,
Hey, model citizens.
you are model citizens, and tell your folks I said hi.
I will. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks, Teddy.
If you enjoyed Tales of the Zeeborhood, presented by Electric Z, consider joining our Patreon crew. You'll unlock exclusive access to bonus content from distant planets, early transmissions of upcoming episodes, and even some out-of-this-world behind-the-scene glimpses. Your support helps us share more thrilling stories from aboard the SS Zebraverse. Head over to patreon.com/electricz. That's Electric ZEE to check out the different tiers of support and find out how you can get involved. Every little bit helps, and these programs are made possible with listener support. Please subscribe, comment, and share if you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in to this transmission. The crew of the SS Zebraverse will catch you at next touchdown in another part of the Zeeborhood. In the meantime, keep your curiosity set to infinite.